Hi everyone, and thanks for coming along to my LinkedIn post today. I've also typed this out here for you to read if you wish, if that's your preferred method. But I was recently asked by somebody what exactly CISO does. And I kind of assume that a lot of people know what a CISO is, but I think especially in the context of running a small to medium, even potentially a large New Zealand business, it's not always a position which is actually held on the executive of an organization. And I think over the last sort of 3 to 5 years, it's only really started appearing in most areas. So I just wanted to go over what exactly a CISO is and why I should have one in my business. That's the question that was posed anyway. So a Chief Information Security Officer plays a crucial role in managing the overall security of an organization. The individual is part of the executive that often reports to the CEO. Sometimes it reports into the CFO or the CIO, but then sometimes there can be potential conflicts between the CIO, who has an overall information responsibility within an organization, and the CISO. So I usually see it better separated where the individual works with the executive, the chief executive, I should say. So it can reduce over time the costs of having a CISO by employing a VCISO or virtual CISO. And really this is kind of like having a part-time CISO. You usually outsource that though to organizations that you trust very well, because obviously you're entrusting the information security of your organization to that individual. So really it helps that these individuals are working for organizations which are well trusted, well known security organizations. They have a good track record. Or if not already having a good track record, it's an organization that you've worked with already and they've probably had some level of exposure to the sensitivity of the information that you hold inside your organization. Because really, I mean, if we're talking about your crown jewels, the most important information that your organization has, that's your bedrock of your organization after all. So the trust is important, and I do appreciate that the trust has to be earned. So in talking about the role itself and what a CISO will do, just imagining, at least from a day one perspective, the first thing that a CISO has to do when they start their job is to assess the situation of the security of the organization. So when a CISO first begins their role, they'll begin by assessing the current state of security in the organization, including understanding the existing assets. Now, when I say assets, I mean by that the policies, the procedures, the technologies, and also the people in place in the organization, and how all those parts of the jigsaw fit together. This will help you identify, you being the CISO, identify the gaps in the security posture and provide a foundation for future efforts. And then really it's about maintaining that assessment and delivering on a security strategy, risk assessments, implementation of security controls, a security awareness program for your individuals in your organization, conducting regular penetration tests or outsourcing those, develop an incident response plan, monitor and review, and of course fostering a culture of security within your organization. So I'll talk a little bit about all of those other things. So these are really, there are 9 parts, I would say, to being an effective CISO. So the next one, develop a security strategy, is really working on those outputs of the initial assessment that you've made. Developing a comprehensive security strategy that aligns with the organization's goals and objectives. That strategy should really include plans for preventing, detecting, and responding to security incidents. Okay, I'll talk about the incident response plan in just a moment, because that fits neatly into that. It's very important. So conducting risk assessments is the third item on a CISO's role, and that really includes conducting risk assessments to identify and prioritize potential threats to the organization. The CISO will then use this information to inform the security strategy and allocate resources where they're needed most. Then the fourth item was implement security controls. Implementation of the appropriate security controls to mitigate identified risks and protect the organization from security incidents is really important. And this may include implementing firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and encryption technologies. It doesn't just have to stop at technology, though. There are points in your processes and policies that really matter just as much, and I'll come to that in a moment as well. Number 5 was to create a security awareness program. Develop and implement a security awareness program that educates the employees on how to identify and protect against security threats. You're only as strong as your weakest link in your organization, and I'm sure you've probably heard that before. Now, oftentimes your weakest link is actually the people. Now, this is not because of malicious reasons. This is usually because the individual has made a mistake somewhere along the line and they're completely unaware of these aspects. So it's really important to have that security awareness program, and that dovetails into training as well. But basically, removing or reducing the risks of human error it's basically one of the biggest contributors to security incidents. So really try whatever they can in the CISO's role to reduce that possibility. And you may have heard of zero trust, which is another topic that I've talked about on my podcast with Sean Muller, called The Technology Whisperers. And again, putting layers in to defend your organization is really at the key, at the core of that zero trust aspect. So if you know about zero trust, look into zero trust. That's another area to help the blast radius of this stuff. The next aspect was conducting regular penetration tests. Regularly conduct penetration tests on your organization to identify and remediate vulnerabilities in your organization's systems and applications. This will help you prevent security incidents before they occur. Now, it's not just important to perform a security penetration test against applications or systems that you're putting in. It's important to check as basically as an ongoing basis. Now, there actually are systems out there or products out there that will do a continual penetration test against the applications and networks that your organization has in place. So you could look into those as potential offerings in the next or the new world of cybersecurity, because they kind of help. A point-in-time assessment of your overall security posture is just that. It's only telling you where you are today, and it could miss other things out. So really having a holistic view on your security penetration testing and having it run constantly or nearly as constantly as you can possibly afford is a really good thing. So yes, there is lots of different products out there doing lots of different things. Some will keep you at a point in time, and if you go to a security company and outsource the security incident response and perform a pen test with them, you'll find that that will give you that point in time, that classic pen test. But there are other ways, as I say, of getting around that. Okay, so let's go on to number 7, develop an incident response plan. I can't bash on about how important this aspect is. Developing an incident response plan that outlines the steps to be taken in an event of a security incident. It's basically, having a car going down the road and, you have a breakdown. Your battery fails or whatever the problem is, your engine just cuts out. Can't get started. If you don't have a membership to the AA, or maybe you don't even know that the AA exists, well then how are you going to get your car going again? You're effectively stuck on the side of the road. Now, with an incident response plan in place in your organization, that means you've already thought through about the steps that your organization would take in the event of a security incident. Now, no matter whether that's a small incident that, causes the loss of a few files on a disk somewhere, or something really huge like your organization basically being shuttered down because all of your disks have been encrypted in a ransomware attack. That's the sort of thing that you can plan for in an incident response plan. So rather than you frantically jumping up and down going, what are we going to do? it's in a document that you can refer to. You can go to step number 4, go, this is what's happened to our organization. Let's do step 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then we might have somewhere a much better place. So it's basically calling the AA and they'll get you back on the road, that sort of thing. By the way, this is not sponsored by the AA, okay? And number 8, continually monitor and review. So by continuously monitoring and reviewing the security posture of your organization, you'll be ensuring that it remains effective and up to date. And this includes regular security audits, threat intelligence updates, and security tool updates. Now, it's very important, to subscribe to all the sort of major feeds, cert ones, and that sort of stuff to make sure your organization is up to date. So again, it's the CISO or the CISO's staff's responsibility to make sure that they're subscribed to the latest news and trends in cybersecurity. And then finally, I think kind of talks to a lot of the aspects that I've just talked about already, is number 9, which is fostering a culture of cybersecurity or security throughout the organization. So by promoting the importance of security and making it a priority, you're really doubling down on all of the aspects that I've talked to already. Now, encouraging employees to report security incidents and actively participate in security awareness training, that is also, it's important to tailor that training to be suitable for your business vertical. It's all very well, signing up to training which is done by some third party, but if that third party's training doesn't actually understand the context of your business, so if your business is, logging, right? It's cutting down trees. Well, what's the important things for cybersecurity with cutting down trees? I mean, there are lots of areas where staff who are cutting down trees actually have not a lot of interaction with IT. And if they do have interaction with IT, well, then it might be sporadic and these individuals might really not use a computer that often. So it's thinking about the context of the individuals who would be receiving that training and also how that training would be remembered in the minds of these individuals. So it has to be lively, it has to be interesting, and it has to be something that will ring true in the minds of the recipients of the training. So very important to make sure the culture of security within your organization is one that will be fostered and thought of long term. So there you go. Those are 9 main points of what a CISO does in an organization, and I hope that that has helped give you some indication as to what the CISO would be doing on a sort of regular basis, or at least thinking about all the time in their role. If you don't have a CISO in your organization, I think now, ever more than before, now is really the time to start thinking about it. And if you think that it's something that sounds too expensive, I'd probably beg to differ. It's important to look at all the options. Your organization might be, a large enterprise, and therefore you should probably have one appointed at the board level and be in a full-time position. However, if your organization's a smaller organization, medium or large even, that position could often be outsourced into a VCISO. So if you're interested in a VCISO, then consider talking to me or one of your other trusted security providers, and hopefully we can all help you in some way. Until next time, thanks for watching.